Go.
That's me. If I buy a book, I want it in perfect condition. I want to be the one to make it look worn and used, not somebody else. And as far as dog-earing the pages, I have to admit I have done that in the past.
The book fairy is going to get you.
Well, what's really funny is my daughter does it too. But now we have bookmarks. That was when I was really, really younger, and she was younger too when she did it. But we've kind of stopped her from that habit because Gina and I talked to her about the importance of bookmarks.
I'm kind of like what Angie, when I buy a book, like I will go through and make sure that I get the most perfect one ever. But the weird thing about me is if I happen to pick up one that's maybe not so perfect first, sometimes I get this relationship with that one and I have to take it out of the bookstore. So, but I would prefer it to be in really good condition. And then if I read it over and over and love on it and it starts falling apart, that's okay. Dog earing? Dog earing? Who dog ears? The book fairy will come and get you. Don't ever, ever dog ear. Please don't dog ear. Please, please.
If they're my books, I like them in perfect condition. But then there are people, not going to name names, but tell me to tear up their books for some reason, which is just weird. And, that's about it.
Okay, I don't care who does it, I love on my books. I want my books to be torn up. If they're hardback, I don't want the actual, like, book part to be torn up, but the covers, the pages, you love on it. You gotta rip it up. I actually asked Spencer to rip up my book. And you gotta love on them, otherwise the books don't know that they're loved. They think that they're just some precious little glass thing, and no, you gotta love on your books. And I definitely never ever dog ear.
So you have a line.
That's insulting.
Don't cross the dog earing line.
Don't cross the dog earing line. You can throw my books around, you can throw water on them, but if you dog ear, I'm getting you.
I do like rereading because you get a lot more and you're noticing stuff and you're not like flying through the books. Plus nobody gets sick of Jace's witty comments.
In general, I would say no. But there are a few that I have, and they have to be really, really, really awesome if I'm going to go and read them again.
I definitely reread books. I read Twilight about 11 times. Why are you zooming in on my face? I don't have contacts in today. Okay, but yes, I reread really, really good books. And like I reread Hunger Games before I read Catching Fire. So like if something comes out new in the series, I'll go back and reread the older ones. But if it's like an okay book, I won't reread it.
Okay, so rereading. I have always told myself, you do not reread books because there's so many out there that you want to keep reading books. So I had never reread a book and until the Twilight Saga. And after reading Twilight Saga, I was so obsessed with that world and with the characters, and I could not get enough of them. So I actually did reread that whole series again. And I was so glad that I did, because the first time you read it so quickly because you're trying to find out what's going on, and you miss little things, or you don't make connections, or there's some foreshadowing sometimes that you don't know about and you don't catch. So since Twilight made me do that, then I thought, oh, this is great, because you do really get stuff. It's kind of like watching a movie, especially like Lord of the Rings, something like that. When you watch it again, you get stuff that you didn't get the first time. So now I actually have since then reread, what did I reread? I reread The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, and I think I probably will reread Forest of Hands and Teeth, and I am going to reread the Harry Potter series, because now I'm really into rereading. But they have to be 5-star books, definitely.
Nay.
Give me a spoiler, and I will kill you.
No.
Spoilers? Boo!
This guy comes up to you. He's so good looking. You thought he has potential to fall in love with you, and you him. And he said, "I hate books. I spit on books. I won't even walk into a bookstore. They're so stupid."
If it was like that, no.
You'd kick him to the curb.
I wouldn't go out with him. But I married somebody who likes to read. But I didn't know that when I met him. But he didn't like say, "Oh, I hate books. I hate to read," kind of thing. If they say that, I don't even want to be friends with them.
Okay, so this is a hard question because kind of like Angie, I am married and he is a reader, and I don't necessarily, if he would have said he didn't really like to read books, I don't know that I wouldn't have dated him. But if it was like, "Oh, I hate books, they're stupid, I don't want you to read," that kind of stuff, I wouldn't have kept dating him. Definitely not. But because one of the things about my husband that I did love, he was a big comic book guy. He loves comic books, and he had boxes and boxes of them, and he always thought that I would think that that was childish or weird, and I thought that that was sexy of him because he was a reader. He had graphic novels, comic books, and actually some other books and stuff. So he reads some of the books that I read. I pass them on to him. I don't really read what he reads because he does like westerns and... But that's another genre I don't like. But, so yeah. So there. I hope that answered a question.
I don't see anything wrong with it, but if you read books, the best girls always read books in the books, if that makes sense. Like Belle, Clary does, and Hermione, she's pretty cool. So those are the examples of the week.
Okay, I am currently engaged to a non-reader, and I totally blame Angie because it's her son.
Hey, he used to read when he lived at home.
And she did not encourage reading enough. But he will go into a bookstore with me, and he'll help me pick out books, so he's okay, I guess. Till I find somebody better, you know.
You might keep him.
Reading.